Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS that rule well. Peace, love, and salutations to all the brothers out there pushing this word of sincerity and the truth. Shalom to the brothers, sisters, and children out there keeping this word of sincerity and the truth. Okay, what I wanted to go into today was what I have is a collection of pictures. A lot of it, or all of it, pretty much is AI generated, but it's from the brothers, just seeing different pictures and stuff that brothers post on YouTube and describing what the kingdom of heaven is going to be like, or what the scriptures have already happened in the scriptures, what we had to look forward to. It's either what we had to look forward to or what has happened in the past, and this is just going off of the scriptures. We wasn't there to actually see it. Like, we can't imagine how it is as of right now in this current state. But when we get back, when we get into our kingdom and we get our power, get those new bodies, we'll be able to know everything and know exactly how it happened and what was said and different things like that. But we, from what the context of the scriptures say, and the best we could, brothers have made different pictures and videos via AI to kind of paint the pictures of what the scriptures, to give you a description of it, So, like I said, every time I see something new or something that's very just like it give me a lot of insight on it, I screenshot it and I put it in a little folder on my phone. And I know I got more on my phone that I didn't put in at that time, and I have to scroll all the way back up just to find it. But I'm gonna cycle through them, and I'm gonna just get the scriptures that's associated with them, and Lord, will that be an edifying lesson? Started with this first one, and just as I go through these pictures, it's kind of thinking your mind like this is what our people are fighting against. When they don't want to be an Israelite, they don't want to be connected to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, but then they complain about all the problems that they experiencing over here in Babylon the Great, whether it's homelessness, not having enough food, not having enough money, not enjoying themselves, having to work all the time. Everything they're complaining about will be solved by turning back to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. But our people are actively fighting against it. So, starting with this one, where you see a little Israelite child, Southern Kingdom look like, and all the animals all around them, which this is all in the scriptures. Let's see. And I'm going to try to get to this is Isaiah 11. I'm going to start at verse... start at verse 4. I'm going to kind of just get to the point of it because I got quite a bit of pictures. So this is Isaiah 11:4. I'm reading the AMP. But with righteousness and justice, he will judge the poor and declare and decide with fairness for the downtrodden of the earth. He shall strike the earth with the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips he shall slay the wicked. And the righteousness will be the belt around his loins, and faithfulness the belt around his waist. And the wolf and the wolf will dwell with the lamb, and the leopard will lie down with the young goat, and the calf and the young lion and the fattened steer together, and a little child will lead them. Right. And it's going into these different animals the Lord has created that's both predator and prey. They're going to dwell together. There will no longer be predator and prey with the animals. They're not going to prey on each other and eat each other and hunt each other down for survival. They're all going to be able to coexist together. And it said a little child shall lead them. So going back to this picture, this is the little child. You see a lion, you see a wolf, you see a leopard, you see a lamb, you see a snake, the snake right beside the child, and you see a crown on his head, showing you that this is the kingdom. This is rulership. I'm gonna keep going. It says, and the cow and the bear will graze together. Their young will lie down together, and the lion shall eat straw like the ox. The lion will eat straw like the ox. These animals will no longer feed off each other. They will all be able to coexist. It says, and the nursing child will safely play over the hole of the cobra, And the weaned child will put his hand on the viper's den and not be hurt. They will not destroy, or they will not hurt or destroy in all my holy mountain, for the earth will be filled full of the knowledge of the Lord as the waters cover the sea. And this is only exclusively for the Israelites. The other nations will not have this privilege unless we grant it. Unless we grant it where they're able to move about these dangerous animals and these animals don't hurt them. They will not have the privilege of doing this. And they're not, and they're not going into, our kingdom is not being established for them to enjoy the first 1,000 years. They're going to go through hardcore slavery. They're not going to enjoy their lives for the first 1,000 years because they had to experience what we had to experience on a whole nother level. So these animals ain't going to be thinking of being playful and everything to them. They are going to know that they're the enemies. But as for us, this is what we had to look forward to. So I'm going to go to the next one, which we already know what these pictures symbolize. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the scripture. It's Isaiah chapter 4, verse 1. It says, and in that day, 7 women will take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. And then I'm going to get another. Hold on. Let me go back and look at the picture. Yeah. All these women are pregnant. Every single last one of them pregnant. So let's get childbearing. Because I was talking to one of the brothers not too long ago. And he had, to one of our brothers down here in Mississippi, he had just recently had a child. And two brothers recently had a child. But the most recent brother that had a child, I was talking to another brother. He had put a thought in my mind and made me think about it in a different way. You know, as far as how the Lord be matchmaking women with brothers, you know, because like the scriptures say, this is 1 Timothy chapter 2. I'm going to start at 13, read down to 15. I'm reading the AMP. It says, for Adam was formed first by the Most High from the earth, then Eve. And it was not Adam who was deceived, but the woman who was led astray and fell into sin. But the woman will be preserved. Let me read this footnote. It says, this is considered one of the more difficult verses in the New Testament to interpret it. Part of the difficulty is that the Greek verb render preserved is literally saved, which could refer either to physical preservation or to salvation, which is both, because they're going to be physically preserved and then they're going to receive the salvation via the chariots. It says some expositionists interpret the verb as referring to the blessings of a woman's role as a wife and mother, especially in regard to raising godly children. However, the wording of the verse seen here reflects the interpretation that Paul is speaking in broad terms of protection from the dangers of childbirth, which is going into they will be literally saved, you know, physically. When Babylon the Great is destroyed, and they'll be able to be a wife and a mother. So I'm reading this verse again. It says, but women will be preserved or saved through the pain and dangers of the bearing of children if they continue in faith and love and holiness with self-control and discretion, which it ain't the dangers and pain of bearing children. It said they will be saved in childbearing in the KJV, meaning they are birthing the children of the elect. You know, they're birthing the children of the men of the Lord. That's what I meant to say. They're birthing the children of the men of the Lord. And this ain't just any woman in this world that has a child with a man of the Lord. Because you got a lot of women in this world that have children with the men of the Lord, and they themselves will not be saved. But the Lord does match women that he wants to be saved with the men of the Lord. And that's a part of their role is to bear children, you know? So even though this picture is going into the kingdom, a lot of women will be going into the kingdom either with children, or they will be pregnant with children, or they eventually will become pregnant with the children of the men of the Lord. So Isaiah 4:1, 1 Timothy chapter 2, all of this is, and other scriptures too, which I'm going to get some of the other ones in the later pictures. So here we go. And this is supposed to be representation of Esau bowing down to Jake. Of course, it looks more, like an ancient civilization rather than futuristic, but still, I'm gonna get that. It's Revelation chapter 3, verse 9. With KJV, behold, I will make them Salakia. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. And that's what you see on this picture. You see the Edomite bowing down to the Israelites. And that's literally going to happen. These Edomites and all these other nations are going to bow down at our feet and worship and understand who we are. They're going to acknowledge it. They're going to have to acknowledge it because they won't acknowledge it right now. Nobody of these other nations will come out and publicly acknowledge that we are the chosen people of Yahweh by Hashem Avashah. They won't do it. They're not going to tell you. Even if the information is out here, they're still not going to say it. But the Lord is going to force them to do it. So here we go with a picture of, what appears to be the southern kingdom of Israelite man and Israelite woman in glory. You know what? I am going to get a precept for that one. I was going to, let me see. I think it's man and wife or husband and wife that agree together. Man and wife, here it is. This is Sirach chapter 25 and 1. And 3 things I was beautified and stood up beautiful before the Most High and men. The unity of brethren, the love of neighbors, and a man and a wife that agree together. So this is, and in the kingdom of heaven, every Israelite man and all his wives will all be perfectly matched and agree together. Agreeing together means they're capable of working together and bringing forth righteousness and continuing on righteousness through their seed, through their generation. The man is able to serve Yahweh B'Shem Abishai in the order that he was supposed to, and the woman is able to serve Yahweh Shai through serving her man in the way that she was designed to be. That's how women serve the Lord, by serving their men, because that's the natural order. So, and both of these pictures supposed to be, just the Israelites and the chariots, or I don't know if they meant to represent the angels, but I don't know exactly which one they meant to represent. But we know that these are the sons of Yahweh B'Shem Avashai with the chariots. And here's another picture of just Jake and rulership. Now this is supposed to be the elect watching the destruction of America and all these other nations via the chariots. Let me see. This is Isaiah 26 and 20. I'm reading KJV. It says, "Come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers, and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself as if it were a little moment until the indignation be overpassed." And right in the AMP it says, "The Lord's wrath is past." So this is going into those chariots and waiting. Well, I'm reading verse 21. It says, "For behold, the Lord cometh out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their iniquity. The earth also shall disclose her blood and shall no more cover her slain." Now, I'm going to read all this in the AMP, verse 20. "Come, my people, enter your chambers and shut your doors behind you. Hide for a little while until the Lord's wrath is past. Listen carefully. The Lord is about to come out of his heavenly place to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their wickedness, their sin, their injustice, their wrongdoing. The earth will reveal the innocent blood shed upon her and will no longer cover her slain." So, Lord is coming back to bring punishments on the earth, and this is what you see, because those other glowing things in the sky are the chariots. which are the angels. And look how many it is. And it's gonna be way more than what this picture show. You know? And you can clearly see that this looks just like America right here. That looks like America, completely engulfed in fire. Completely 100% engulfed in fire with the chariots steady shooting laser beams. Let me see. Let me see what else precept I want to get on this. I was thinking about it. I remember it. I remember something that they say. But I can't remember where it said. Let me see. I can't remember exactly where it said. It might be window. Let's see. Okay, I might not. I can't remember exactly how it was worded. Going into being look at the window. They would go the elect. They were gonna be looking out of the windows, which I don't even think it says. Matter of fact, I think I remember. I remember something that it said. I don't know. I can't remember exactly how it was worded. But it was going into how the elect was going to be looking out of the windows at the destruction. But I can't remember how the scripture was worded. I don't know if it was. I'm trying to remember some word that was in the scripture. Okay. I can't remember it. All right. Let me just keep going. So this going back into the scripture back in Isaiah where the children would be able to play with the animals and all various types of animals. The animals was going, well, I already got it. But all the animals would have the fear of man back on them, you know, and the fear of the Israelite man, just like it was in the beginning. So I can get that. Let me get that in Genesis. Is it Genesis chapter 2? Or is it let's see. Okay, this is Genesis chapter 2. Starting at Genesis 1 and 26. And I'm going to read this in the KJV. And the Most High said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So the Most High created man in his image, and in the image of the Most High created him, male and female created he them. And this is the Lord telling you that he created both man and this is when the Lord created man and women, men and women. It wasn't just Adam and Eve in the beginning. It said, let us create man in our image, male and female created he them. Then in the next verse, he said, and the Most High blessed them, which I'm going to read this in the AMP. It says, and the Most High blessed them, granted them certain authority, and said to them, be fruitful, multiply, and fill the earth, and subjugate it, putting it under your power, and rule over, dominate the fish of the sea, the birds of the air, and everything living thing that moves upon the earth. Right. So, here it is right here. This is going to actually play out again, but it's going to stay like this. And as you can see in the background, it's a chariot. Now, of course, a lot of these buildings, it looks like modern or ancient civilization, but in the kingdom of heaven, our civilizations is going to be so far advanced, it's not going to be like what Esau or any of these other nations ever had. It's going to be something this earth has never seen before. But you get the idea. It's a young Israelite king being able to be around animals that apex predators, or animals that no human would want to just be around except the Edomite. And this is supposed to be just like a kind of like some type of representation of the kingdom, or a city in the kingdom, which is, again, these pictures are just to paint the picture of what it's going to be like, and not saying that this is exactly what it's going to be like. But as you can see, you got all these various planets in the background. It's truth to it, it's truth to that. And it might be like that in the kingdom of heaven, where you got planets right beside each other like this, where brothers got their own planet. This is literally your mansion. You see, Esau Edom got a mansion on earth. He probably got like acres and acres of land. But here, you got a whole planet. And this man talking about some little spot on earth that he controlled. Man, the kingdom of heaven is going to be far out. It's going to be far out. Farther than anything we've ever seen. And as you can see, it got like little areas in this city. And this would be considered a big city. Just look at all these buildings, all these places here. Man, we can't even imagine. And this is just an image of I can't remember if this was supposed to be I don't know exactly what this was. And of course, this is supposed to represent Moses when he came back with the stone tablets. It looked like the stone tablets, the commandments. But I know this representation of Moses, with the whole congregation of Israel. And this literally gives you an idea of how many Israelites came out of Egypt. Like, just look at all these campfires, all these lights, and all these people. You can't even count it. And you got lights all the way back there, all the way wrapping around. Millions of people, or a million at least, or millions of people, because you got all 12 tribes. You cannot even number it. And this is just a chariot. This would be like a chariot appearing to itself in modern day term with what appears to be the face of Yahweh Shai under it. You see the afro, the beard, the face, the nose, the eyes, the eyebrows, the mouth. Some of these pictures I'm going to just, keep going through. It's just to give an idea. Now, I'm going to get a scripture for this one, but I'm gonna get it later, because this is the crowning of Yahweh Shai to the elect. Matter of fact, I'm going to go and get it now, just so when they come back around, I can just skip it then. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 2. No, I'm gonna get it when they come back. I'm gonna get it when they come back around, because it's another picture that's gonna have it's gonna be better. As you can see, Jake and his kingdom sitting on his throne, and then this is the Israelite woman. Again, the whole nation would, and the women, the women in the kingdom of heaven would be. It's going to be a type of beauty that this earth has never seen before. All Israelite women will be on a whole nother level. And they will be the most beautiful type of women that you can see now will be average or below average to the women in the kingdom of heaven. And we can't even imagine. We cannot imagine. We cannot imagine. And you see she got the tigers. She got the water. And then the kingdom of heaven would probably be, it'll be so far out. We'll be so far out. As you can see, it's like she's sitting on a fountain with the water falling down. And she probably not even get wet. She probably could sit on water and sit on the fountain and not get wet at all. You know, clothes don't get messed up or wet or nothing. Just imagine that a woman, a beautiful looking woman, dressed beautifully and modestly, sitting on a fountain, a water fountain, spewing out water, and her clothes doesn't get wet. Just imagine how beautiful that would be. So I'm gonna go back to that Isaiah 4, but I'm gonna keep going down. This is verse 2. Verse 2 in the KJV, it says, "In that day shall the branch of the Lord be beautiful and glorious, and the fruit of the earth shall be excellent and comely for them that are escaped of Israel. And it shall come to pass that he that is left in Zion, and he that remaineth in Jerusalem, shall be called holy, even every one that is written among the living in Jerusalem." Meaning the elect. It said that you will be called holy, You will be called holy. You are the sons and daughters of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. You are the chosen. The first fruits, you are the chosen. You're going to be called set apart. You're on a whole nother level. For the Lord to go through all this and to do all this to the earth and spare you. He did this to the rest of the nation, but he spared you and set you on a whole nother level, gave you new bodies, gave you a kingdom, gave you dominion over the whole earth, and the privilege to be in the midst of Yahweh Shah. Like that's on a whole nother level for everyone written among the living in Jerusalem. So that's the elect. Now verse 4, here's the point. And I'm gonna read it both in KJV and AMP, but KJV first. It says, "When the Lord shall have washed away the filth of the daughters of Zion, and shall have purged the blood of Jerusalem from the midst by the spirit of judgment and by the spirit of burning." Now, before in the AMP, it says, "When the Lord has washed away the moral filth of the daughters of Zion," going into the women, "and has cleansed the blood stains of Jerusalem from her midst by the spirit of judgment and by the spirit of burning." Right. And this is what you see in this picture right here. An Israelite woman who's been washed of the filth, of this world. And not only just this world, of her nature, of the woman's nature that always fight against her to keep her out of order. The same nature that Eve had when she went off. All our women are going to be washed from that. They're going to be perfect too. So we keep going here. It is another picture of a young Israelite child leading a bear and having fun with it, happy. This is what our people are fighting against, and hate to see coming. But we see it. We long for this. We long for these type of experiences, to live like this forever. We are longing for this. So it's that first picture again, just zoomed in. Now you can see the snake a little bit clearer. So like I said, I'm just cycling through some of these pictures. Israelite man. I think on this picture it was both Judah, Benjamin. No, sorry, Judah, Gad, and Ephraim. But they got just Judah on this one. But Gad to the left and Ephraim to the right, or vice versa. And this is supposed to be a representation of Yahweh Shah with just various different looking animals. You got different versions of lions, different looking, all different types of colors, especially the black one. I ain't never seen a black lion. And you just got different other types of animals. And who's to say these animals don't exist? And this is Noah when he was on the ark. As you can see, the people in the water drowning, begging, crying for help. And you can see the worried look on Noah's face, from the picture. And I believe this is supposed to be a representation of Abraham and Sarah, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember, but I think this was supposed to be her. This is supposed to be Yahweh Shah surrounded by some of the 144,000, some of the elect men. They happy that we got the victory, you know. And this is Psalms 37:13. It says, "The Lord shall laugh at him, for he seeth that his day is coming." It's talking about the Edomites, you know. And then and he holding a picture that says your plans and laughing at it, you know. You know. And I'm not sure exactly what this. I think I took this picture around the Passover, if I'm not mistaken. I can't entirely remember when I got this. I think it was supposed to be close to the Passover or something. It was leading up into it. That's Shema Yashar'Allah Yahweh Allahayanawa Yahweh Echad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, Yahweh Bashim Abushai is one. And this is just supposed to be an Israelite family, or maybe two, with the family in the back coming out of the chariots. I think this is one that I tried to make on a little app. I just tried to have a man walking with chariots around. I think these next couple of ones are the ones I had made. I was trying to do Israelites on another planet, but this is what they what they brought up. So it ain't all the way perfect, but these are going back to the brothers right here. Supposed to be like a structure, a building in the kingdom of heaven. And then this is a young Israelite girl playing with a dolphin, examining a dolphin. Very beautiful. Look like the Northern Kingdom, but very beautiful. And here go that picture again. Now you can see it's Gad on the left, and I think it's supposed to be Ephraim on the right, with Judah in the middle. And this picture, I really like this one. When I first seen it, it was like Yahweh Shai sitting at the table with, again, his men, 144,000, and some of them. But Yahweh Shai at the table with them. And here we go again with the Isaiah 4:1. Look like an Ephraimite man with all his wives. And it's actually more than that, but I think I was trying to use this as a screensaver, so I only got a picture of it, or part of it, or maybe that's how the brother had uploaded it. But here's another one, Isaiah 4:1. Or just the fact that men are able to have multiple wives. And that's how it's going to be in the kingdom of heaven again. Now, let me get a precept. Call Allah Yahweh Shem Abishai for the time. It's 11:44. I wasn't even paying attention to the time. Let me see. I'm just going to David or Solomon, either one. Let's see, who is this? This is 1 Kings chapter 11. I'm reading the AMP. It says, now King Solomon, let's say defiantly. I'm reading the KJV. Let's say it was common practice among pagan rulers in the Near East to ratify treaties with other kingdoms by marriage to foreign wives. In Deuteronomy 17:17, the kings of Israel were strictly forbidden from participating in such alliances. Solomon's defiance of the Most High command led him into the sin and the loss of his kingdom, which is true, because the marriage, these women of the other nation, these heathen women, they are not on the same level as the Israelite woman. So even though they would still be considered a wife, it'll be a lesser wife, which is a concubine. They're not to be put on the same level. And that's how they convinced him to go off. But as far as us dealing with other women of the other nations, the Lord allows that. We can have concubines. They're just not to be on the same level because we're not the same. And even with the Israelite women, our Israelite women are not the same as these other women. These other women are literally all lesser than are Israelite women. So I'm reading the KJV. It says, but King Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Zidonites, and Hittites. And just to be fair, all these other nations have beautiful women too. They have beautiful looking women. Because at the end of the day, they're still a woman. And we are still men. We still going to be attracted to them. So yes, they all have beautiful women, but they are never going to be on the level of an Israelite woman. They will only and always be concubines. Now, we bear children. Now, we have children with them. Yes. Can we have children with them? Yes. We can have children with them. The children's going to be an Israelite. Are they still going to be on the same level as the Israelite woman? No. If we have children with them, just like with Sarah. Sarah. Sarah had a handmaid, Hagar, who bare Ishmael, and that and Sarah saw it as her child before she had her own. Same with Rachel. Rachel gave her handmaid to Jacob to bear a child because she couldn't at the time she was bearing, and she claimed the child for herself, as if it was her child, and they can do that, but these other nations, they don't have that power. These other women, they don't have that power to be on the same level as the Israelite woman. Verse 2, of the nations concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, ye shall not go in to them, neither shall they come in unto you. For surely, I'm reading AMP, from the very nations of whom the Lord said to the Israelites, you shall not associate with them, nor shall they associate with you. For the result will be that they will turn away your hearts to follow their gods. Yet Solomon clung to these in love. Right, so it said he clung to them in love. That's where he went off. He put the woman first. Like that song, you better put that woman first. That's exactly what Solomon did. And that's how he fell. Now, to back up what I'm saying, that we can deal with the other nations and take them and they can be concubines. I'm going to get that precept. Let's see. Now this is Deuteronomy chapter 21, starting at verse 10. AMP, when you go out to battle against your enemies and the Lord your God hands them over to you and you lead them away captive, and you see a beautiful woman among the captives and desire her and would take her as your wife, going into the other nations, it says, then you shall bring her home to your house, and she shall shave her head and trim her nails in preparation for mourning. Why? Because she has to mourn for her family. Her family just died. Her family just got killed. 9 times out of 10, the men were conquered, and some of her family were put to death. And she's going to mourn for her family. It says, verse 13, she shall take off the clothes of her captivity and remain in your house and mourn for her father and her mother a full month. After that, you may go in to her and be her husband, and she shall be your wife. But it shall be that if you have no delight and take no pleasure in her, then you shall let her go wherever she wishes. You certainly should not sell her for money. You should not deal with her as a slave or mistreat her, because you have humbled her by forced marriage. And what it means by as a slave, meaning you can't put her in no hardcore slavery, and that we're not to misuse or mistreat them, because at the end of the day, you took her to be your wife, your concubine, And I'm going to read the next verse. It says, if a man has 2 wives, one loved and the other unloved, it says hated. The Hebrew word does not seem always to indicate a hostile attitude, but sometimes more of a sense of rejection. Just to go into it. It says, and both the loved and the unloved have borne him sons, and the firstborn son belongs to the unloved wife, Then on the day when he wills his possessions to his sons, he cannot treat the son of the loved wife as firstborn in place of the son of the unloved wife, the actual firstborn. Instead, he shall acknowledge the son of the unloved as the firstborn by giving him a double portion of all that he has, for he was the beginning of his strength, generator power. To him belong the right of the firstborn. Right. So all of that lets you know, first and foremost, we can have women of the other nations. We just are not supposed to put them in the same level as the Israelite woman. They are not the same. They're not considered wives in that level. They are concubines, which is just a lower wife. You know, they are a lower level wife. So they don't have all the rights and privilege that a actual wife has. And then two, it said if a man has multiple wives, he had two wives, one he loves and one he don't really care about. He can't treat the first, if the firstborn be of the one he don't really care about, he can't treat them any type of way. You had that going on. Regardless of if these men and women realize it or not, a man can have multiple, what this world call baby mamas, or multiple women he done dealt with, or he had a baby. Man, that's your wife. At the end of the day, that's your wife, you know, or that's the woman you had children with. And he can have literally two different women he had children with, but the second one, he'll probably be with her. The first one, he ain't with her, and he'll neglect the first one, you know. He'll neglect the first woman and those children more than he would the one that he's actually with. And that's why a lot of women have issues with their fathers, and then they have issues with relationships after that because of that whole experience. And then on top of that, their mother telling them that the father ain't shit or nothing like that. But they don't really understand that these are all the curses. And they don't even understand what went down, what truly happened. So it's just a big mess. But this is what we are trying to come away from. So now I'm gonna read 1 Kings 11, verse 3. In AMP, it said he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300. Verse 3. He had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned his heart away from the Most High. So the concubines, it says, Genesis 22 and 14. 24, and his concubine. Let's go to it. It says, concubine. Let me read the verse for us. It says, Genesis 22 and 24 in the AMP. Nahor's concubine, whose name was Ramah, gave birth to Tabah and Gaham and Tahash and Maachah. So now the footnote for concubine, it says a type of secondary or inferior wife, often a slave, much lower in rank than the official wife who managed the household and gave birth to the legitimate children, which the children was legitimate regardless if it was a Israelite woman we had children with or a heathen woman, because the children were Israelite as long as the man was an Israelite. That's literally what determines your nationality, by who your father is. If your father is a Edomite, it don't matter what woman he get with, that child is gonna be an Edomite, even if they look like the other nations. But if that man just say, is an Israelite, it don't matter what woman he get with, the child can literally get with a Moabite, and the child can look just like a Moabite. But if the father was the Israelite, that child is an Israelite. So it says concubine had marginal rights to financial support and recognition, meaning the man was going to take care of them. Their children were usually acknowledged as offspring of the man, but were of lower status than the children born to the official wife. And that's not how it is in our culture. In our culture, we're going to have children with the other nation's women, and they're all going to be considered Israelites. They ain't going to be of a lower level. So, like I said, he had 700 wives. What did it say? 300 concubines? Read it one more time. This is 1 Kings 3, 11 and 3. He had 700 wives, princesses, Israelite women of all 12 tribes, and 300 concubines, women of the other nations, who were a second wife, or a secondary wife, a lower level wife. and his wives, which are the concubines, turned his heart away from the Most High. So going back to that picture, this is what you see. And this is just a small number. It's one with 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 women in this picture. And this can be representation, even though this is in the kingdom, because the man is obviously, this is the kingdom. But you just think about it. These 9 women could have been with this man, just painting a scenario. They could have been gathered with this man doing Jacob's trouble, and all of them got delivered. And now they're all finna bear his children. And just look at that. In 1 year, just with this picture alone, in 1 year, this man has had 9 children. His household has grown from 10 people to 18. 19. Now here's the picture that I wanted to get. As you can see, it's a whole congregation of Israelite men, and the tallest one being Yahweh Shai. That's supposed to be representation of Yahweh Shai. Now I'm gonna get it. This is 2nd Esdras. I'm gonna just get to the point. 2nd Esdras 2:42. I, Ezra, saw upon the Mount Zion a great people whom I could not number, and they all praised the Lord with songs. And in the midst of them was a young man of a high stature, taller than all the rest. And upon every one of their heads he set crowns, and was more exalted, which I marveled at greatly. And this is what this is representing. Yahweh Shai setting crowns on the heads of the elect. All of us, all of the men going into rulership. It says, so I asked the angel and said, Sir, what are these? Verse 45. He answered and said unto me, These be they that have put off the mortal clothing and put on immortality, and have confessed the name of the Most High. Now are they crowned and receive palms. Then said I unto the angel, What young person is it that crowneth them and giveth them palms in their hands? So he answered and said unto me, It is the Son of the Most High, whom they have confessed in the world. Then began I greatly to commend them that stood so stiffly for the name of the Lord. And this is what this represents. A young man, Yahweh Shai, crowned, taller than all the rest, crowning all the men of the elect. Very beautiful. And this is supposed to be another picture of it, another image of it, another version of it, rather. And another version of it, taller than all the rest. And here's another picture now. Let me get that. Isaiah 60 to the very bottom. Isaiah 60 and verse 22. AMP. KJV, rather. I, a little one, shall become 1,000, and a small one, a strong nation. I, the Lord, will hasten it in his time. So just like you seen on that other picture, that man with 9 women, all of them pregnant. Now this is, this is the same scenario, but this is just showing one man with one woman. One Israelite man with one woman, his wife, but all these children are his in the kingdom. In this palace. Again, it looks, kind of like an ancient type palace, but what we gonna have is gonna be far out. Something that this world never even seen before. Something that we can't even imagine. AI can't even paint the picture. But you just look at this, like I said, and he's gonna have a full beard too. Everything is gonna be full, but you get the picture. Beautiful family, all these children, And here it is again, a man with his children in the kingdom. And all this can be his. This whole area and territory can be considered a fraction of his palace, maybe a third of his palace. And again, it all looks, ancient, but you get the picture. Let me read this scripture. This is 1 Corinthians 2:9. It says, But as it is written, I have not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which the Most High have prepared for them that love him. So we can't even imagine what Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai truly got for us. And this looked like a northern kingdom man in the kingdom with a leopard right beside him. And this is a southern kingdom Israelite man with his wife. Very beautiful. Very beautiful. Very, very beautiful. And this is going into children. One shall become 1,000. And here this picture again with what appears Yahweh Shai crowning the elect. And Isaiah 4:1, multiple wives again. And I think on this picture, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it's 7 women on here this time. Which 7 goes into completion. Very, very beautiful. Israelite man in the kingdom, surrounded by beautiful plants, beautiful flowers, and beautiful women in the background with a waterfall in the whole background. Very, very beautiful. And another Israelite man with his children and his wife beside him. And not to mention, all these children will be coming from different women, not just one woman. And it looks so real. That's the crazy thing about it. That's how far this technology has gotten. This looks like a real image. But this will be a reality soon to come. And then the Israelite man chilling right beside a lion. And it's probably one hand picked that he liked, that he chose. It's chilling right beside him like it's a dog or something. You know how dogs like to come and be up on you, And this is representation of Yahweh Shai, Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. Now I'm going to get that. What is that? Psalms. It's Psalms 110. Yeah, Psalms 110. I'm reading the AMP. It says, a Psalm of David. The Lord, the Father, says to the Lord, my Lord, the Messiah, his son, sit at my right hand until I make your enemies a footstool for your feet, subjugating them into complete submission. And this is where Yahweh Shai is as of to this day, right now, at this moment, as we speak. It's where Yahweh Shai is, sitting at the right hand of Yahweh, waiting to the perfect moment where Yahweh say, okay, now it's time to go deliver my people and to bring this world, this current system to an end, And of course, like I said, this is all just for a representation of what the scriptures say. So ain't no telling what the kingdom of heaven, what the heavens look like, where they reside at. It's no telling what it actually looks like. But, it's powerful. Both of them got the white afro, white beards, white garments. Like you can't even imagine, man. And this is supposed to be a representation of Yahweh Shai with, I think, the 144,000 behind them. And this is the last one. This one I got from the Brother Saints of Jersey, recent one. Because when I seen this, I was like, man, I never thought about this. This makes me think about when, like you have Esau taking a picture, like they'll be on a yacht or they'll be on a cruise ship or something. I ain't never been on a cruise ship. But, they'll be on a cruise ship or a yacht, just chilling on the side of it, looking out in the water, whether it's they looking at the water or whether they looking at the city from the water or something like that, just chilling. This is what this picture kind of make me think of. And then whoever thought about this is very, very, very creative. Because it's like you're chilling on a chariot in outer space looking at everything that Yahweh Ba'ashim Shai has created. And, of course, you see the planets in the background. You see the stars. And I'm guessing this is supposed to be above Earth. But who's to say that it's going to, Earth or the outer atmosphere is going to look like that, just dark with the stars and planets. That's all you can see. Man, it might be something far, far greater than what we can even imagine to see. And you have a chariot. You and your brothers just up there chilling, looking at all the beautiful creation of Yahweh Ba'ashim Shai. And this is very futuristic, just looking at the ship itself. You know, the brothers sitting down with their crowns on their head, just chilling, probably drinking wine. Man, this is very, very beautiful. Then you can just imagine, like I said, you chilling with your brothers, or you might want to chill with your family. You might take your wife. You might have date nights or something, and you take a certain group of your wives, a certain number of them, and y'all go chill somewhere. Then another time you take another group. You do this year round. With certain different groups of them. Whoever you want to go with you, and you just go different parts of the atmosphere. I'm sorry, different parts of the universe, and chill like this. Ain't no telling, man. It's gonna be far out. We can't. I have not seen, ear have not heard. So that's the last picture that I got. But I just wanted to go into some of these pictures, and Lord will, this was an edifying lesson just to give us something to look forward to, because we are extremely close to these things becoming reality. This becoming our everyday life. So, Lord will, this was edifying. On that note, I want to give our praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS that rule well. Peace, love, and salutations to all the brothers out there pushing his word of sincerity and the truth. Shalom to the brothers, sisters, and children out there keeping his word of sincerity and the truth. Until next time, shalom.